So I just want to understand why I'm not the one who's interviewing Mantalk, Eli and Oscar for this show. And I am the star of the show. Is it because I'm dark skinned?
But who told you the star of the show?
That's what we tell you, so that you keep it there.
No, this is about to be another Kanye West and Taylor Swift situation, real fast. You understand? Because I'm experiencing colorism right now. You guys talk about this on your show. You guys talk about this colorism on your show.
Yeah, we covered that.
Yeah,
we covered that.
I've been working with British accents. Travel in it.
Oh wow. Oh, it's
called
Eli, my guy. What one? Keep it rolling.
So do you take the shades off and just
like Usher?
Yeah, we're keeping this.
Okay, start the show.
Alright, cool. Let's do it.
Alright guys, welcome back to UnboxTechbanterbros. Today the so-called star, is not here. He had to get a hair transplant. But anyway, welcome to the show. We're honored. I don't even know what to say. It's literally our 4th, 5th episode. I can't keep count. And we're having Nairobi stars. I mean, bro, I don't know if we should be the guys to be interviewing. We're really making moves. But anyway, we have Mantalk.ke today, bro. I'm talking about Eli and Oscar, but I don't know if you guys understand. Before Eli came to Kenya, it was Eli. You remember when you say, "Hey, Eli, come through"? But anyway, please tell us about you. Tell us your names informal so we can be able to get the government. You know what I'm saying? Right? My hackers on board. Alright, let's go.
So my name is Eli Mwendwa, one half of Mantalk.ke, and yes, it's Eli, not Eli. Super happy to be here. Thanks for having us, man.
Oscar Koome, super happy to be here. Shout out to you guys, man. You're doing a great job.
Thanks a lot. I'm doing a good job. Star. Anyway, we're gonna get into it. Not gonna take much of your time. It's a lovely day today. Brief introduction. So, tell us, when you guys started off, like the whole coming up with ideas and everything, tell us how it was for you.
It's been a long journey, man. It's been a long journey. It started with a vision of trying to make like good impact, good production, just a good product to go on the internet, because it's a place that sometimes doesn't get positive things done at high quality. So our goal was to make good impact, make good content, and just spread a positive message. So as we've gone on that journey, and this is a tech show, so I'll keep it techie. As we've gone on that journey, it's been a lot of learning how to be a production house. So that's been like our journey from having no idea to being told you need this, you need these kind of mics, you need these kind of lights. So that's been the last 2.5 years. It's been learning on the job for us.
Can't you show that? Tell me about that. As if you say production, I mean, you come get the response, or someone tells us the sound is like this, the lighting's like this, and you obviously have this vision. I mean, it's Line Oscar. I mean, you always wanted that perfection thing, like, the light's gonna look like this, editing. Did you guys have to learn new skills to be able to come up with this stuff? Tell us.
Perfectionism can be dangerous, especially when you're running a content-driven business. What I think people need to focus more on is the philosophy of the message that you bring.
Philosophy.
Yeah, like what's the brand trying to communicate using what it can have. You see, for us, if you go and look at like from season, I think me and Eli started working from season 3. Season.
You guys can say season.
Yes.
I mean, on Monday we're gonna say season.
Yeah. You see, the only way you can get to that like type of consistency and that type of like ability to deliver week on week is by keeping your production costs as low as possible, while optimizing on the consistency with which you put out the work. So like if you're able to keep your costs low and you continue to show up and manage your money and time, then you'll be able to do it consistently over time, and you won't have to need sponsorships or all those things. But like for us as Mantalk, how we've managed to kind of scale the production budget is by starting small. And, one mic. I remember there's even an episode where we were hanging
mics from the top of the
hanging mics from the top of what was that thing?
Like a pole.
Like a pole thing. So
the journey.
Exactly. Yeah, the lapels like.
Was there particular? Let's say someone's about to start up. Were there particular brands you guys had to research into? Whether you guys had to watch shows like, it's not really going there for you. We would have told you, take this lapel, forget a lapel, take a rod mic, Were there things you guys were like, okay, I need to get this is more fun. Listen, putting a budget, knowing this is more practical and functional, I need this, but I may not need this. I can hack this and here and here. I may not need this guy, I can learn this skill to do this stuff.
The key is delegation. If you're not an expert at something, get somebody who is an expert to help you. Because otherwise you're going to make lots of mistakes take much longer when somebody could have come in with that skill set. So what we've done is we've onboarded people that already know their craft. So when it comes to mics, they already know, and then we learn after the fact. So like they come to production and say, you need this, you need this, you need this. It's quoted, we outsource, and then that's how we basically create the product. But in terms of I think you're touching on monetizing in terms of brands and things. It's a long road.
It's a lonely road.
Lonely road. It's
cool.
Brands only care about.
I feel it so much.
It's tough. Brands only care about how many eyeballs can they get on their product. And if you don't have the eyeballs, they don't want to put their product with you. So it's building, like the philosophy you mentioned, building a community that you can then not sell, but then you can optimize for a brand. So we took a very long time before we even got our first brand deal, and then you have to be very humble with your rates because it has to reflect on the audience. So we built that with the philosophy Oscar mentioned. We got a nice community, so now whenever a brand comes, we can push what they need in our language. So in a positive way.
Actually, going to a question I have to ask you, creating content, people just think, pick up a phone, it's the same photos, this guy is taking photos of food, this guy is taking, I can do this. Go for one YouTube class, see, switching the camera, now I'm all the tech with, bro, trust, it's not easy. That's why we had to replace our star. the beam to the actual, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, tell us, when it comes to the whole, I know people really undermine that content creation, coming with the skills. I didn't even think about the whole, looking for the type of brands you want to work with, which kind of reflects who you are, you should be comfortable. Because at the end of the day, when you're living your day-to-day life, you guys are going to have kids. This year, you don't want to keep coming to me, you did this before, did that before. Or, when you're chilling with your family, how can you work with these guys? Or maybe this brand affects the other brand. Maybe using this equipment affects this, I'm holding an iPhone, Samsung wants to do a dealership with us, Samsung, you know what I'm saying?
So that's a two-part question, right? So one is, you've mentioned brands again, and then the other is starting off, how to start off. So for the first part of the question, starting off, as much as yes, it's there is a skill set, there is also a beauty in using whatever you have in your hand at that point to just start. Because there's never a perfect time, but there's always a toughness.
Which is what you said about how perfection can hinder you too.
Exactly. So you have to, even if you have a rubbish phone, if you can make great content with that rubbish phone, when you get a good phone, you're going to make exceptional content. So as much as yes, it's a skill set, it takes a long time, just respect the process. And I always encourage people to the worst thing that can happen is that it doesn't work out. So if you've got a really, really, really bad phone, just try and use good lighting to try and, make the content. You don't, because it's gonna pay off eventually, but you have to also invest in something, right? So if you have an awful phone, invest the time in the skill there, and then build up, and then it's gonna obviously pay for itself eventually, which comes to the second part, the branding. Brands will appreciate content at a certain level, but they also appreciate the journey. When a brand approaches you, if it's a very high value brand, they'll look back at all of your content. They'll vet you. Has they ever used anything explicit? If you don't go with that, if it's family, they'll go back to 20.
You serious?
They'll go to 2018. They do a whole vet. So when you are starting, even if it's with the awful camera, just make sure you have a very intentional way you want to present yourself. Because otherwise you might lose brand deals 3 years down the line because you did something in 2018.
So they can't ask for your browser history.
No, trust me.
It's just what you put out.
Clear my browser history.
What?
Browser history.
Yeah. you have to reiterate that because it's again the thing about preparedness, the thing about where you know what you're trying to communicate, what audiences you're trying to reach. And like I always like to say, like visualize your audience member before you make content for them. Imagine how they react before you make content for them. Sometimes it's even good for you to make content for yourself because you know you'll be shocked the people who are around you in your own life, if they enjoy your content, then you know that they also have like-minded people who enjoy your content, whether it's high or low quality. So like that's always been the idea, like visualize your audience member and then make content for that audience member, and you'll be surprised how many like-minded people you actually meet.
Nice. I mean, we just thought about lighting and camera. There's a lot into it.
Yeah,
preparation,
man.
Preparation.
So,
I also don't like a big shit on this show. Can I be the third member of Mantalk?
you guys can hear this.
Send the proposal.
You can say your name correctly.
You know the fun part? You be both Eli and Oscar writing it.
Yeah.
That's the fun part.
Coming to tech, since this is a tech house, what's your tech inspiration that you feel like locally and internationally when it comes to the podcasts, blogging, equipment? You know, tell us. What do you?
Internationally, I'll go MKBHD. I'll go, but the one that Mantalk's main kind of talk show format. What I've looked at a lot is Diary of a CEO by Stephen Bartlett. I think that one, equipment wise.
I've heard you talk about that a lot.
That one, hey, yo, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that's equipment wise, tech wise, I think that's something we've looked at. Another one I've looked at a lot is Flagrant 2, they just make their own studio.
Yeah.
So I'm watching that with a lot of interest in terms of tech inspiration. And then locally, I think Mantalk is at the peak now. I think for us, we're at the pinnacle. It's us. So.
Mantalk!
I think I keep on hearing voices in my head. I'm not okay. I think after the director needs to take me to the hospital. I'm Eli?
Yo,
Eli? Not Eli? So.
Yeah. So my tech inspiration is actually, so I don't want to pretend I'm like a super techie guy.
Yeah.
With me, the show is about like what are you putting out? Like yes, the quality is high, but what are we putting out? So very similar to we both released each of the clips from Diary of the CEO because the format he's taken in terms of using really a high quality camera so that you can then like frame it for reels, because and then making that part of your like content strategy. So for him, I've seen what they've done in terms of like the camera quality is so good that when you want to recycle it for different platforms, it doesn't compromise the quality. So I've seen
that is deep because you can want to use this like videos like different ads for something, recycling. You guys, please take notes for me on that one. That is deep.
No, it's really
that is deep.
Yeah, so I've seen
you can use it on different fields, Instagram, YouTube, bro.
So that's why with our production house and now the mirrorless lenses, etc., it's such high quality. And I've seen also Jay Shetty does a very similar thing. So he'll shoot an episode that goes on YouTube, high quality. I think it's like 4K, and then he will do clips on YouTube YouTube Shorts and also on Instagram from the same clip, but now framed in like I think it's 9:16, right? So that's like in terms of inspiration of how to create content, how to create a product. Those are two shows that I look at and I try to replicate.
Even those numbers, 9:16. Did you know that? The rules and all that.
Yeah, 9:16. 16.
Hey, yo.
Good for TikTok as well. Good for TikTok as well.
You guys are getting tips, man.
Gems.
Why am I even here? Alright, tell us, with that coming, when you talk about you've seen those things and you're like, guys, in text, in the international scene and you want to get into that type of scope, what are your next purchases that you guys see that I'm saying I want to get this in terms of text? I mean, MK wants to get that new Maybach. You saw that review? That was deep. Alright, tell us, what's your next purchase?
I hope your co-host is watching this on my next purchase.
Yeah.
That's not being edited out.
Yeah.
Because I know this is part by Mobizus, I want an iPhone.
100. 13 Pro Max 1 TB.
Maybe.
Yo, stop.
That's
the one.
13 Pro Max 1 TB.
Yeah.
That's the return for Mantalk for coming to your show.
Oh, Mantalk!
I hope you know.
Yo.
Relax. You should have thrown me an iPhone. You should have thrown me an iPhone. But because you don't know marketing. But anyway, we'll move on. Yeah. So that's my next question.
Okay, that was okay. I'm recovering from that one.
Next purchase, I think at the moment I'm using MacBook Air. I think I'm gonna upgrade to the Pro just for editing.
Okay. So you guys have actually acquired a lot of skills when it comes to that. You just said you wanna with editing, you wanna go to Pro.
Yeah, he's catching up, eh?
No, come on.
Yeah. Oh, so that means okay. There's something we did. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Serious?
Yeah, even me, I've learned a little bit.
Yeah. What software are you on?
Lightroom for pictures and VN for video editing.
What is VN for the guys who don't know?
VN is a video editor.
Okay.
That's what I'm using. That's why I need the iPhone from Obizus. So that I can edit.
Obizus, are you hearing?
Are you hearing it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they know. Yeah, so that's the plan.
And you also just video editing.
Video editing, I use InShot on my phone. So.
You actually show you had a Q&A.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've been using InShot.
Yeah.
It's so quick. Like you can make. That's why I use to initiate all of my content. It's super simple, and I like that you can do it on your phone because doing it on the laptop is great sometimes. But if you're on the go, I can literally make a video as I'm going.
When I bolt,
bolt. Usually like
each other. Come on.
Yeah, that's what we use for editing. That's what we use.
100%. That's really lovely to hear. And you guys go with the flow. I mean, your personalities. You guys blend. I mean, you guys make it go so easy. Even for me, I'm feeling I'm part of the Mantalk. I think you guys at Unbox need to get a new. But anyway, things have been rubbing off. You're saying he's catching up on the editing.
I'm catching up on editing.
Oh, you're catching up. Sorry, you're catching up on editing and. Like, what are the things that you guys, in terms of personalities, that you guys are now realize, oh, I caught this from Oscar, I caught this from Eli. You know, when it comes to personalities blending, when it comes to you and phones, like, were you guys always, I mean, you said you have a MacBook, you have an iPhone, was it always Apple products? Was it like, oh, this guy caught me onto this, I like this, I prefer this to that, you know, tell me.
I've always been an Apple guy.
Yeah?
Always used, in terms of like, changing my tech, it's not really changed. I just normally upgrade it with a new iPhone because that's literally what I do like for work. So it's very important to do that. In terms of rubbing off, tech-wise, I don't know. I think we just rub off in terms of personality. Yeah. That's what I've sort of seen. Oscar's more extroverted than me, so I think that kind of balances because I'm right in between. So that's rubbed off for me a bit.
Has it?
Yeah, I think it has. I think I'm more of a social butterfly now.
Yeah. Before you were.
I can do both, but only if there's money involved. Now I can be extroverted and there's no money involved, which is nice.
Yeah, which is fun.
That's right. We're doing it.
I like that.
For me now, when it comes to the tech side of things, I've used Android all my life. All my life. OnePlus.
You know we're coming there, right?
Yeah. OnePlus, Samsung, all my life. I've used Android. But I feel as well I wanna make that leap. Powered by Moses. I wanna make that leap. So I wanna make that leap.
Evidence. Don't cut that.
I wanna make that leap. So I see how we can make it happen. But in terms of personality between me and Eli, I think the thing that I've learned a lot is like these days I'm very like my boundaries are very clear. Like my self-worth is very like it's not something I negotiate. And I feel like when I met Eli, you know, I feel like at that stage in my life I wasn't as confident. Like I knew what I wanted to be and how I wanted to achieve it. But now there's that confidence that like it can even make you lead. You know, where you're self-aware, you have that mindset for I know what I want.
I know if it's not
there, then I'm just done.
Iron sharpens iron. I need to get some of that.
But hang around.
I know my worth, you know.
Yeah, hang around.
Unbox. I need to know my worth, you know. iPhone 14 Pro Max coming. That is lovely to hear. So now that you guys have talked, you are an Android. So there's some favoritism on an Android.
And he's an iOS guy.
What makes you feel like Android is a thing and iOS could be the thing? And was there anything that would be like, yo, maybe Android, I would like Android because of this?
Well, for me, I think the I think Android gets a lot of flack. For example, let me give an example. Samsung TV uses Tizen. The Tizen.
They knows his stuff.
Yeah, man. Android TV uses the Tizen OS. So, I mean, Samsung TV uses the Tizen OS, and I won't lie. I was experiencing that same Tizen OS on a freestyle projector that we're doing with Samsung. The seamlessness of it, like for me, it just confirmed everything for me. Because you see, the thing about Android is it's very intuitive.
Okay.
I usually, when I tried to work in my Apple days, because there was a time that I had a short stint. I think was it 8 or 9?
Yeah.
iPhone 8. I think iPhone 9. When I had it, my guy, I had to relearn all of my kind of tech instincts and all of my ability to run that user interface.
Okay.
So when I was using that user interface for the iOS, I was like, it's not really the one for me. And then when I got back to my OnePlus, man, 12 hertz.
But you know when guys who are OnePlus users, for me to be honest, I literally just Apple users because the skin is literally the same.
No, price not.
The skin of OnePlus. If there's an Android,
in fact, when I got the 70 Pro at that time, I think the OnePlus 70 was moving the screen time in terms of the what's that thing? The speed.
Oh, the refresh rate.
Yeah, the refresh rate was faster than it.
No, I'm not saying the screen. I'm saying the skin, like how the OS, the UI is similar to an iOS. You know, literally copied.
Yeah,
and
you'd think
if you were to come from.
You'd think they have, but for me who's like done both and like I am strongly biased on this.
Yeah.
Android's iOS, the user interface is so much more intuitive than Android's user interface is so much more intuitive than the iOS.
I feel iOS is so easy, but that's according to people's preference. Because we all know once you enter Apple, you don't go back. AirPods, iPad.
They
shop you.
Yeah, exactly. Now the second thing is now I'm a guy I'm big on capitalism, but I hate when it's excluded. It's exclusive. Don't exclude people from enjoying don't exclude people from enjoying like a specific product or specific experience just because you're doing it to make money. So you know, like what they call these things? Those things.
I can literally hear Leon over here. I think it's a thing.
The AirPods. Do you have to tie in with your Mac? Do you have to tie in with your phone? For me, I was like, are you guys running a fashion brand lifestyle thing, or is it a tech experience?
It's very ecosystem. It's a business system, marketing, and on top of that, it's safety. Because that's why you're saying you're having pop-up ads on your phone.
Yeah, I told you about this. So off camera. Let me tell you the story.
This is coming out of
off camera. We had a conversation about how I'm having the worst possible experience with the phone.
Be careful with the future. Yes.
Won't say. You're not teaching me. Are you teaching me?
I'm trying to show you I'm learning.
So guys, yes. So this is off camera. I am using a particular Android phone that is very low end. So as I do that, I've realized that these low end phones are pushing ads in my direction. At no point in time have I wanted to spend money to buy a high-end phone than now. And I understand completely why data protection laws are being put in our country, because this is absolutely atrocious. Like the fact that
I've seen it on browsers,
like it's being pushed. I'm on, like there's this browser, I realize if I say the name of the browser, I might tell the name of the brand. But there's only this phone uses this browser. And I'm not necessarily, I wouldn't say which phone it is.
But you know yourself.
But it's terrible. I honestly think it's one of the worst mobile experiences I've ever had. And it's bringing down the Android name. I think Android OS, please guys at Android, at Google, refuse to be associated with this.
So that will make you jump to the iPhone 13 Pro Max.
The reason why I'm actually jumping is because I think, from a technical standpoint, I think for editing and kind of content creation, it's a shame to say, but a lot of the apps that our content goes up on have been optimized for iOS, not necessarily Android. So
that's what I wanted to come into the point where you say the whole Apple is constricting and limiting people. That was back in the days.
Yeah.
These days, anything, if you're a true programmer, you want to program for iOS first or Mac OS before you go to Android. Because the money is there.
No, bro, but don't you think that's dude, you've taken me to the legal side. That's like antitrust. That's like creating a natural monopoly in a business, trying to upsell your products to a very specific niche, which is content creators, programmers, people who actually need high performance software. And the way you do that is by saying you need an ecosystem.
I'm glad you said that.
He was waiting.
Guys. The question was iOS versus Android. So what us iOS apples like to do, we like to let the Android people just, talk about it. And then just conclude, right? So,
I love it.
So if you think about what your phone is now, right? Like realistically, your phone right now for everybody is not for calls.
Yeah.
It's for pictures, memories, using apps to either edit. If anyone that's like under 30 is mostly using their phone more to take pictures than to take calls, right?
100%.
Yeah. So in an environment like that, I feel like even comparing Android and Apple is, I don't know why people do it, because I've never seen an Android have a better camera than Apple. Like, it's just not happening. It's just not happening, my opinion.
I have some.
It's not happening. It's not happening.
The head of video filming is just like, oh, I'm about to go. Okay. Let's let him finish first.
So this is when they're not in sync.
Eli even says, Pole.
Listen, I've not seen that. The thing we're talking about, it's not good that most things are optimized for Apple. You're saying most things are optimized for Apple. I don't look at that as a bad thing. The majority of people that are making the highest quality of content are using Apple phones. I think that's just the majority, because the user experience is easier. Even in terms of when you're talking like gear, not this what's it called when you put like a smiley?
The emojis,
You can't compare Android emojis to Apple. The fonts, right? Everyone is more familiar with Apple.
Is everyone more familiar with everyone?
If you look at some
everyone in your circle,
it's about the world.
That's everyone.
It's horrible. And this is the world we're living. We're living in a world where you send emojis, go on social media. If you look at your screen time using most of the time either on WhatsApp or on Instagram, etc. And it's optimized because the majority always wins. So in my opinion, that's why I never even like to.
But are iOS the majority?
100%.
You see,
100%. I'd like to get some stats.
When it comes to what he's saying, okay, and let me not. Android do have proper cameras, like even better than iOS. But the thing is, what he said, optimization.
Yeah.
When you post, if I right now were to post,
optimization.
I was to post a video on Instagram with an Android versus an old model iPhone.
Yeah.
The quality of the iPhone is better.
That's the optimization thing that I said, and that's why I'm making the switch, because I'm finding I can't make content. Even the reason why I had to make the purchase for MacBook. I had to make the purchase for a MacBook, and I told him this because I was like, I'm so used to Android on my phone. I might as well start using. This guy was like, people are teaching me how to go through screens on this. Because first of all, I'm an HP guy.
Oh, you're like proper Android.
I'm an HP guy. Man, shout out to the Envy. That thing did wonders for me. Shout out to the, what's the other one? Spectre.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
You had a good time. I use the HP Spectre. I've used HP and Samsung, not Samsung, Android all my life. Right? So like now making the switch to iOS, the thing I've noticed is that iOS guys tend to say everyone is doing it. And us Android guys are like, yo, that's not real.
Do you know what's funny? Okay, so think about it like
if I go to Meru right now,
I feel like you just
but if you think about it like this, right?
I go to Meru right now.
How many different brands are using an Android database? All competing with one brand. Apple.
Can you imagine that? That's
okay. Let's go. Let's take it. How can you take it through data?
How can there be? I don't even know how many companies. We're not going to say the names, but like all of them, and they're all competing for one person. All trying to be better than
that tells it all.
Yeah, it's like
you even joining. I don't know. Oh, you want to get you an S22?
No, please, if you can. But this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The problem that I've found is that what is happening right now is that a lot of the companies that are running the content creation markets that he comes from are American. And in America, which is their main market, they've optimized for Americans. So to you, what you've interpreted that to be is they've interpreted it for you. But they've interpreted it for their main client base in America. Now, me who's Kenyan, who's trying to get upload videos on, let's say, Instagram, which is an American-based company, and if I'm doing it off of a low-end phone, or a phone that actually has a better camera than his phone, for example, the OnePlus, which definitely does. Yeah, it
Depends
does.
which one.
Well, the iPhone 12 and the OnePlus 17 Pro, there was no debate.
When 13 though, you can't talk about the past.
Oh yeah, but wait, but like with that specific time frame, still, because that was when I had the iPhone.
Okay.
Not iPhone, the OnePlus.
No, but 10 Pro is pretty decent.
Yeah, the when I was uploading videos to IG, they were laggy.
But let me say,
And I was like, when I'm watching it on my phone, it's 4K. There is no lag.
unfortunately, this is where I come, and I used to be a photographer before.
Yeah.
My dear videographer, photographer, head of media does know that yes, the camera matters, but it's all about the lighting, the whole environment. You can make an iPhone 5, you can make a take and remove proper photos. Am I lying? Can I get yeah? No, just not yeah. But the thing is this, yeah. Let's go. What he came hitting gun blazing was when it comes to content creation, which people under 30 right now, 35, even if you're taking a photo, people use Snapchat more, especially in the Western world, compared to me on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And Apple has realized, let's focus on that. And it's a whole round, it's not even about the camera alone, we're talking about, well, when it comes to talk about connectivity, longevity, we're talking about, even if you say the screen all refreshed, fine. But we're talking about it's all rounded. Apple is a.
But we were also talking about like. Here's the other thing I've also realized. When we think about the Android experience, right? And we think about the companies that are running Android.
Yeah.
Do you know that the cameraman from South Korea knows that Samsung contributes 20% to his GDP? 20%. So before we even sit down and start talking about databases, like 20% of if we keep shooting this thing the way you guys in this direction. And so that's just one company that's running Android. Ask yourself how many guys are at the bottom of the pyramid, because at the top of the pyramid who are looking for a high quality experience.
Yeah, we'll go.
And this is the thing I have. That's the thing I'm saying. The problem I have with kind of the brand, the identity of iOS is it's exclusionary, elitism at its finest. Why shouldn't everyone has a right to enjoy efficient technology? It's like the expressway right now. If you want to use the expressway, you're paying a premium while the others are stuck in traffic.
But at least you know, you guys, your personalities rub on each other, but clearly, type-wise, everyone has their own.
Sometimes we negligence
each their own, to each their own. So here's a small trick we have for you guys. I think Eli and Oscar, iPhone 13 Pro Max or Samsung S21 Ultra.
What?
Let me hear the answer.
13 Pro Max.
13 Pro Max. What about you, Eli?
Yeah, 13 Pro Max.
13 Pro Max. Okay. Now to cameras, Canon or Sony?
Canon.
Canon, yeah?
Canon.
Prefer Canon,
Yeah, Sony doesn't make the best camera.
Yeah. So, you? Canon, Well, Canon, Canon. We love Canon. To social media platforms, YouTube versus Instagram. Instagram. First, Instagram, huh?
Instagram, yeah.
Okay.
More interactive.
The birth of man.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold up.
That's a careful one.
Yeah?
YouTube.
YouTube.
Why? Could you get away?
Can you get away?
Yeah, because I get to pick. I think I'm more into a deep dive. I like deep dives. And
Even the intrusive ads that you hit.
I hit the ads, but I love the content creators.
I block.
I like the content creators there. The content creators are crazy. You have your Mr. Beast, you have your KPHDs.
Compared to Instagram, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, but Instagram, the reels on Instagram, you know.
Reels, I feel like
You're seeing a lot of content from
I feel like that short form content isn't an innovation of Instagram itself, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, TikTok said something.
Now, the MacBook Pro versus the HP Spectrum.
Pro.
MacBook Pro.
Yeah, but it depends on the edition.
Yeah.
I'm running 2019.
What if it was
Actually 2020.
What if it was the MacBook Pro versus the HP Omen gaming laptop? Gaming PC.
Well, what's the function of the am I gaming? Am I using it for gaming?
Let's say editing. You see, like video work, content creation. HP. Would you prefer a MacBook Pro? Would you prefer?
I stick with the Pro because of the M2G.
Okay, and those stuff. With your content creation, what's the fun part? Shooting or editing?
Shooting. I can't choose.
I can't. Yeah. Sometimes it bags.
Yeah.
Shooting.
I can't choose.
You can't choose.
You can't choose.
No.
You can't choose. You love editing.
Equally as
Yeah, both.
Yeah. Come on now. Yeah.
Can you put that there?
Now, to the last question. This is very important.
God.
You don't make that face. Listen. So
This guy's a crush.
while you're editing your videos, who do you prefer listening to? I say this slowly. While you're editing your videos, who do you prefer listening to? Would you listen to Beyonce when editing your videos, or would you be listening to Rihanna when editing your videos?
Neither.
My guy has a problem. It's not what you guys.
Neither are making.
Do or die, a gun to your head. Rihanna or
Shoot me 6 times.
I think Rihanna.
Beehive, have you heard that, sir?
Rihanna.
Rihanna.
Yeah, Rihanna.
Rihanna.
He's about to cry right now. You guys are. You
Okay, Oscar, who do you listen to if you're editing your videos?
Because I've gotten into this editing thing fairly recently. You know what really works? Running up the hill. Like you get it, even the cameraman.
Especially
let me tell you.
What's the name of the song?
Let me tell you, Big Bush running up that hill. That thing when you're editing, you can listen to another song when you're editing audio, but that thing
is still playing.
is like keeps you in flow state. Either that or this electric
EDM.
you know that music for work playlist that you wonder who listens to this one, right? Like that EDM kind of lo-fi sound. That really
nice. Well, okay.
That's a flow state music right there.
You like
This man
for
knows.
you?
I'm a jazz instrumentals guy. That's what I listen to. I'm like jazz instrumentals, R&B covers, like saxophone. Yeah.
Anyway, guys, thank you for coming to our show. Really appreciate. You can, the assistant to the start of the show, you can close. Yeah.
The beef is real. I love it. This has been fun though. Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah.
Really had a good time.
Thank you so much for coming through.
Yeah, I'm hoping I'm getting my iPhone 13 as I exit.
Always just remember, that's not been cut off.
Yeah.
Free iPhones, you get an iPhone, I get an iPhone.
you.
100%, all for buy.
There we go. Thanks for having us, man.
Thanks a lot,
Really
you guys are so
appreciate it.
good for coming through.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Thanks again, you guys, for joining us on UnboxTechbanterbros, and catch you up next time. We are Matrix. Wait, where's it? Sorry, not. Sorry. This is yours.
Here's mine.
Wait, there's a glitch in the Matrix.
Are we really doing this?
Mantalk!